Welcome back to the Kaylie and Carol show. It's been a while. You guys probably forgot who we were. So in that case,
you have to tell the story about how you lost,
I will.
how you found it today.
So that is a good story about everything happens for a reason, even if you don't understand it. But I'm Kaylie. This is my mother, Carol. We are Chicagoland mediums, and we try to sit down once every couple weeks and have a good conversation with you guys about different spiritual topics, mediumship, healing, grief, all kinds of deep but really, really good, beautiful things. So yes, in case you haven't noticed, it has been about 2 months since
I don't feel like it's been that long.
Our last episode was July 7th. So 2 months almost.
Almost.
Since our last episode. And I guess that's just what happens sometimes with life. I really have been trying my best to surrender. That's all I was hearing from you today is you have to surrender. And I was like, I surrendered for 2 months and didn't make it a big deal. But I tried to make it happen today. It ended up working out anyways.
Can I just share one little thing too? Only because it kind of goes with all of this. You could share about the podcast thing, but I'm babysitting my grandson. He's homesick. He's been sick for all week, and he has a cold, and it's just better, when you're home and to get better quicker and just make sure he's very needy and wants to be held. And she's like, we have to record today. No, this was the time. We have to record. And I was like, okay, but, this could happen. I said he could come here, sit in his little thing, even though he's really cranky. I said, but it'll be fine. And she's like, no. Long story short, I got him to sleep. We did this all in like 5 minutes. It was a group effort. And, so he's in the family room sleeping. So she really did have to surrender a lot today. That's why I just wanted to share. Yeah, it's been challenge after
bit behind schedule. But I did want to share a funny story. So about 2 weeks ago, we went to record an episode of the podcast, and we got all ready. I showed up here, set up the whole room, and then I realized that our little recording equipment, I don't know if you can see it in the camera down there, was completely missing, and I couldn't for the life of me find it anywhere. I ran back home, came back, looked everywhere. She looked everywhere. We asked everyone in the family, and no one has seen it. So we couldn't record that day, and we continued to look for it for a week after. And we could not find it anywhere. So I was like, you know what? We just need to record. It's been way too long. So I bought new equipment. I was like, it's just going to be easier. We can't find it. We did everything. So I get here today, and I start setting up the room, and I'm, straightening up because we haven't been in here in 2 months, and all that stuff, and I'm just organizing stuff.
And the baby's in here. I'm putting makeup on, trying to get ready, so we're all, it's not our normal. It's not our normal. You just made a post about chaos or quiet when you feel spirit and stuff, and a lot of people experience chaos a lot before, the energy.
I feel like the answer to that post was 50-50. A lot more people said chaos more than I was expecting. But as I was straightening things up, I found a little bag, and of course, what was in that bag was our equipment. So now I get to return what I just bought. But as I was thinking about it, I'm like, well, actually, thank God we just found this, because I forgot for our equipment we need a SIM card, and we didn't have one in the new one. So
we wouldn't have done it.
So if I didn't find that, we would have not been able to record today. So
perfect.
It works out when it's supposed to. Again, sometimes we don't understand why, when, what it's going to look like. But I guess that just comes with surrendering to life and to the things that come up, trusting that we were meant to sit down today, because it's when we found the equipment, it's when everything lined up, even though there were some obstacles, and those obstacles, like in one of our last episodes, could just be a manifestation of our own resistance, my own pressure or expectation. that, you know, it had to be done today. It had already been 2 months, whatever it is. But of course there were obstacles, but it doesn't mean it wasn't meant to happen today, because clearly it's happening. So
music to my ears, because I'm always saying that to her, because I feel like some of it comes with age. You know, when you live longer, you see things don't work out the way you've planned. Yeah. And especially when you have a bunch of kids like I've had. So I'm always preaching that same thing to her, but she's having more experiences that are showing like,
well, and I feel like that's how the last 2 months have gone exactly, is like just one thing after another. Like you want to have a plan and then life happens and it's like, no, sorry, that's not going to happen. Because I feel like even this week alone, we've tried to set up like 3 separate days to sit down and talk, and none of them were just working out. And I was in there when the baby was a little fussy and not falling asleep, and I was like, yeah, it's not going to happen today. Like, there's no way. Like,
and I said, give me 15 minutes, I promise. I wanted her to time it, because I was like, 15 minutes, I'll have him sleeping. And he was showing even me. I was like, come on, Luca, because he was really funny and wide awake. Yeah. And I was like, 15 minutes. But at the same time, what I just said, some of it comes with age. At the same time, that's why I love that we're all teachers for each other at all times. At the same time, for me, I'm like, I don't have to always create chaos when we're going to sit down and record. So there's things that resistance the other way, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I just wanted to say that too. So I'm aware of my stuff too. Like, yeah, I don't always need, the sky to be falling for me to get something done.
Yeah. So over the last 2 months, we've had plenty of readings, plenty of house parties, getting ready. We actually have our last one before I go on maternity leave, next weekend.
Saturday.
Not this Saturday, the 6th. Which will be our last one, which is bittersweet. But do you have any? I think I have a spirit story or two to share, just to again share the language of spirit, give you guys an idea of what it's like, what we go through, the things that come through, and how to kind of understand and take the messages. Do you have any? Or
yeah, I was trying to think of one, and the latest one that's popping in my head, because I feel like there's so many, and I always say I'm going to jot stuff down. I never do.
Yeah.
Again, we get busy, and it is very hard to remember them, but some just stick out. So the one that is coming to me right now they were one-on-one at our last party, and her mother was coming in pretty strong with lots of things, lots of evidence already, which was beautiful. And she was just like wow, really receiving it and really happy. And she's actually, now I'm remembering more of it, she's getting married, and I forget what month, but her mother brought in that. She said that was her mother's birthday month, but also I'm getting married. I said, oh my God, well, she knows, And I think
it's so beautiful when Spirit brings up like things happening right now in our lives, especially big moments like weddings, that we go through here, because it really does bring, I feel like, so much comfort to my clients when those types of messages come through, that they're still with us.
And I feel like that's been a theme and we talk about our readings when we leave at the time, like all the time. And we have a lot of similarities where Spirit, like their biggest message is like, I'm here. Yeah. I know what's happening right now in your life. Yeah. And it's so beautiful because it reinforces us with our loved ones. But at the same time, like we see these themes happening. And so anyway, she brought me to, and it was crazy. Me and Kaylie talk about this on the side, how we wish we would have said something else, but sometimes we don't. So I saw peanuts, like before Spirit has given me peanut at a ball game, like, the peanuts, whatever. So I knew like the people liked baseball or whatever, but I said, how did the peanuts connect with you? After her mother was telling me all these things that she loved, like in her life that she loved, and they were her heart, like her family, and like she could do nothing but homemaking was her life and stuff like this. So then she showed me peanuts. I said, how would that fit for you? And she's like, And she said, that was my mother's cat's name. And but before she said that, I already kind of felt like it was an animal, but I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
And because I thought that's silly. Who names their dog or something Peanuts?
Yeah.
Well, it was her cat. And she's like, actually, it was my cat. It was my mother's cat, but it was by me all the time. It was essentially my cat.
Yeah.
And she's like, wow. And she was just like so floored and stuff. And I thought, how beautiful. And the message went on how her animals were her heart too. And she said that is absolutely my mother. And so that was cool.
I hate when, I love it and I hate it when us as mediums, like there's a lot of work that we're doing internally to be able to say whatever we're receiving, because I have a memory from a while back of a session I was doing, and I was connecting to my client's brother on the other side. And at the time I was watching this TV show. We're based in Chicago, so I don't know if anyone has heard of it, but the TV show is based in Chicago. It's called The Bear. It's about like a chef, and it's really good. Yeah, it's good. Anyways, the main character is they call him Bear, like it's his nickname. And in my session, my mind went to the Bear, the TV show, and I was like, I have no clue what this means. Like, could he be watching it? Maybe, but like it was a new show. I'm like, I'm not gonna say that. At the end of the session, we were going over everything. He's like, yeah, everything resonated. And he was like, yeah, actually, we used to call him Bear. And I said, are you kidding me?
And what I was going to tell you too is, so like she said, there's a lot of behind the scene work we're doing. It's our job. And so I did get clairvoyantly a peanut, the ball game peanut, but I felt it was an animal. So that's the thing, where clairsentience is really where I feel where you go deep in it. Yeah, where we're able to go deep in it. So I did feel it was an animal, but I actually remember seeing the peanut. Yeah. So when you pair all of this together, that's where you could go. Yeah,
the ways that spirit comes through. And that's where I feel like I got stuck. Because it was something that I was currently watching, I was like, it's just my logical mind, and I didn't let myself go deep enough to tune into why it could be coming up. And I feel like as a medium, like I don't like to just say what comes through without having a stronger interpretation of what spirit means by it. Like, I don't want to just say, they're showing me the TV show The Bear, and then the client has to, like, I want to know why. Like, I ask why first.
But just sometimes it's important to do that. Yeah. Because I've had it both ways. Sometimes spirit wants them to
put it together.
So it's a tricky thing between us. Yeah. I think we know most of the time when we're supposed to. So, like that example of the bear, I think that was just a learning thing for you. Yeah. Like, because it's telling you just feel through it a little bit more and see what you come up with and then say it. So yeah, we're always learning. And we love it. We love learning. We love, even though in the moment we're like, oh, I wish I would have said that. We're like, all right, next time we're going to get it.
And it always stings because it's like we want it to count so bad. Like, that would have been so good if I would have just said it, and
but it was
didn't.
Still good.
But it reinforces the trust in what comes through, and not just letting things go, but going deeper into it when spirit brings something. That's why we're taking a circle right now. And our teacher, it's just a mediumship circle just to be in the energy. Even though we do this, weekly, we still like to, like you always say, always be the student, always practice. There's always more we can learn. And our teacher said something last week about just, like never taking a no. And I feel like that's true, because it's when you do get a no, like from a client, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better at, like, okay, it's not a no, it's a misinterpretation. Like, where am I getting it wrong from spirit? Then let me go back and ask, and figure it out. But another quick little story, and then we'll get into it. We're probably like halfway through the recording by now, but I just had a story from the other week or so that kind of goes with it, because like the peanuts thing, with the cat, that's not something that I feel like sometimes clients can come to us and they can have a certain agenda sometimes with things that they want to hear, things that they want their loved ones to come through with.
I'm glad you're circling back, because they ask us, or sometimes people will think, well, maybe that was like mind reading. You hear that sometimes, like, and she hasn't thought of peanuts since she was a little girl, she said. So that's why I was like, that is cool.
Yeah.
Because, people come up with all kinds of stuff. They'll say to us, like, it could be this or it could be that. And I'm just relaying the message from her mom.
Or things like that can bring in, like confusion sometimes with our client, because they're like, well, why would they bring that up? Like, that's not significant. But it's, like, that's a good example, it's to show us that it's not about what you want from your loved one. It's about what they want to come through with. And so the one that I was going to share with my client, her loved one was showing me him wearing a cowboy hat. And he was emphasizing the cowboy hat, but I felt like he put a photo in my hand, like I could hold it. And so I mentioned it. I said, I feel like there's an actual photo with him wearing a cowboy hat. And she said, she actually, like a week ago or whatever, had just came across and was looking at a photo of him and a couple other family members, and they were all wearing cowboy hats, which was really good, again, to show her that he's with her, watching over her, even when she's not thinking about him. But even in that case, like, it's just a photo, or it could have been something that she glanced at and continued to, like, go do whatever she was doing or look for whatever she was looking for. It wasn't an aha slowing down, like staring at this for 5 minutes, but she said she did just like find it or glance at it. But that's how spirit works. So sometimes they're not going to come through with the biggest, most significant things, but I feel like it is in those little moments that do make a big difference when spirit shows us that they're here, like, not just when we're thinking about them. They're here all the time.
And I would take it a step further, just because spirit has had me do this so much lately, is because you said it doesn't have to be any deeper, and just that they're there. I think it's always deeper, honest to God, because I would go back to that photo, see the year. I would just let the message continue to unfold. I always say, like, one message could mean so much and will continue to. Maybe it's a time, maybe he was with his, I don't know, friends or brother, whoever you said was there, that, they were having, so maybe it was a stronger memory. I don't know, but there's always, like, more to kind of feel through. But the more we teach our clients, the more they'll be able to do that. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, for sure. So getting into it a little more today, again, I've had this little topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a couple months, and I don't think we really talked about it. Sorry, there's like hair on my face. We didn't talk about it. Usually I like to talk about it beforehand a little bit. But I wanted to talk about what's been coming up, and it's been coming up over these last 2 months, is all about, like, purpose and our soul's purpose, and what does that even mean? Because I feel like it can be so easy to get attached to what you think your purpose is. Like, it can be very easy for me, I'm sure you, to get attached to the idea, the part of you, like, I'm a medium, that's my purpose. I bring through messages, I help people, work through their grief, I bring through evidence from the spirit world, whatever it is. But then life comes along, and I feel like I'm learning that purpose isn't just like one thing, or it's not just like you have one purpose for your whole lifetime. Like, your soul picked out this one thing and you're supposed to do it the rest of your life. I feel like we always talk about the waves of life, the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows, the changes. My favorite quote, that you can't be 100% in 100% of the areas in your life at one time. Like, there's seasons and there's changes. And I feel like over the last 2 months, that's kind of what I was learning, especially because like 6 months ago or almost a year ago, like that's when we rebranded ourselves. We came together and everything was like blowing up and doing so good, and everything felt so connected and it felt so right, and everything was just working out so beautifully. And so over the last couple months, like even just the fact of not being able to sit down and like have this conversation, it is a little sad sometimes. I feel like, because it is something that we both really enjoy. That's really fun. Beautiful things come of it. We get great feedback. But that's where I feel like the balance comes in of trusting where you're at, meeting yourself where you're at, surrendering, like all of these lessons that we teach and talk about every episode that we currently go through. I feel like is when, like, that's when in life, like these things come in, and it's not that our purpose or whatever isn't to do this anymore or talk or whatever, because it is, and we're here right now. It's, I think about letting go of like the pressure or the expectations that people hold when they think of, your purpose or what you're supposed to be doing with this life, or in that way.
I think you said a lot of things.
I did.
I'm
out of breath.
I'm trying to go.
Breathe.
There's so many good things I wanna jump on. But just the thing you said about coming here, having fun, that's what screams purpose to me. When it's something that's like exciting, not just like, so maybe your purpose is guiding you somewhere else in that moment or something, but it's like every time, even through the chaos, when we sit here, we get excited because we're brought back to our readings. We're brought back to, I was just thinking too, when you were talking about, purpose and other things. It doesn't have to be one thing, and that's so true. And I'm so grateful. I'm a forever student, as you, and a lot of us are. But when you recognize it, and for me, that's exciting because I just love learning about anything out of the box. And but I had a client the other day that ties into this, and it came through spirit, and they teach me all the time. Like literally whatever we share is what we've been taught by spirit, or usually it's mainly by spirit. Most of the time it's through our experience. And so this reading I had, it was so beautiful and so profound, I thought, for me and for everybody. That's why I'm going to share it right now. But it was, I gave examples because spirit never calls out. We always, say, some people are like, oh, I don't want someone else to know my deep, dark secrets or like stuff like that. We hear a lot of stuff like that, and they don't let me know your deep, dark secrets, or but they bring it in such a way that's a broad teaching, but that people understand. They just kept telling me 100%, I get it, 100%. But the message was like, so this is tying into the purpose thing. So, really good in one area. The example was work, like really good electrician, say, troubleshooter, just amazing at his craft. And then the other side of the spectrum, say it's parenting. What I mentioned as an example was relationship. Say it's relationship, and it could be with your mother, your kids, your parent, whatever, whoever. And how you're so good at this, troubleshooting, electrician, figuring it out, getting to the bottom of it, how when you could just, don't chalk it up like I'm a failure, I've had relationship after relationship and whatever. Go within your craft and see how all areas kind of connect. I mean, they do connect. All areas connect. So like, see where you can take your greatest gifts over here and kind of put them in there. Not to be a perfectionist, whatever, but just try different things. So purpose becomes in all areas, because the purpose really is what you are connected to in your heart, what makes you come alive, what makes you talk all night, what makes you feel like you're doing something for someone, what makes you feel like you're receiving some of that back. That's purpose in every area. So anyway, I thought that was so good, because we all know what we're good at and what we can do, or what, and then like, oh yeah, but I can't I can't work out, or I can't lift weights good, or I always wanted to be a gymnast, but I can't. Just take my skill over here and just see what area I could kind of shift in there. But anyway, I thought that was so good.
No, yeah, I do feel like that is really, like, I'm just taking it in because I do feel like it is a really good
metaphor
teaching, especially because I feel like our human minds want to just get like stuck on the things that we don't do right, or the things that we do wrong, or the things that we're not good at. And so when it comes to purpose, like, if you're struggling or thinking about like, what am I supposed to do? Where am I at right now? What am I supposed to do next? Where am I supposed to go next? Like, I think it's so easy to get stuck in like what we're not good at, what we can't do, and all of these things, that it is a good idea to like, no, focus on what you already know you're good at. It's not about becoming a master in every single thing in every single area in its own way. It's about catering to you and your gifts already, what comes naturally to you. And I do feel like that is
and
true.
what happens is you become a master in all those areas, essentially, and then your life is like you've had a part, an intentional part in creating like all these different areas, whether it's a good parent, a good husband, wife, a good daughter, or not, I say good, but yourself, what you want to show up as.
Yeah, no, I do feel like that is really, beautiful and good, because like so many people get stuck on it, even if it's not like your purpose for the rest of your life, but like just the simple question of like, what am I supposed to do right now? What am I supposed to do next in life? I feel like that is always the answer, is like, well, what do you want? Or what brings you that feeling
you could
of
break
fun?
it down. My purpose in life is to connect to myself. Like you could break it down to, and then take that in all the areas. Be happy, put a smile on my face and someone else's, like whatever you want.
I feel like people can get stuck on thinking of like purpose or what they're meant to do, or as a thing that they have to like provide, like it's something that they have to do for others. And though I do believe that is part of your purpose, when people first view it as that, like, my purpose is what I can give to others, it almost feels like a job or
that's
a chore.
Why I think it's kind of like a natural byproduct.
Yes,
your purpose will come. Just like if you start eating right and moving your body every day, your body's gonna change form to look and feel healthier. Like it's a byproduct. Even if you're not trying to lose weight or look different, it's gonna shift and change because you're doing these things.
Yes.
That's how I feel about purpose. It's like, no, it's all within ourselves. And when we're showing up us, whatever that means, every day, and we'll get straight, life happens and we learn and then we come back. But as long as we keep coming back to ourselves and opening doors within ourselves that we want to express.
And I just think of like, for me, for example, I didn't, plan to be a medium or to do these certain things. But while I was growing up, we've talked about like, I was very, very interested in like understanding emotional healing, like the mind, watching all of these videos, grief, like the hard situations that people go through. And as I was able to learn this about myself and to understand what I feel pulled to, what brings me happiness, makes me not even just happiness, but just like excited to like learn and figure things out. As I moved forward in life, it was able to be combined with, so that's what comes naturally to me, is figuring things out, is like healing emotional. And I was able to combine it with mediumship to where now my readings are my own thing, and I'm able to help people with certain aspects of their life and
continue to help yourself.
Yeah,
like because we're learning so much through like, and that's and it's funny, I don't know why, but I just had like a flash to my dad, because he's a big part of my life right now, and he was always a detective, like a natural born detective, and so was I actually wanted to be a lawyer for a minute, and I just didn't want to go to school, but I remember like just little things, but I knew my dad, and I never realized, later in life I realized how much I was like him in that aspect. But like he could look out the window and he would know if a car was moved an inch, like literally an inch, and he'd say, nope, because the rock over there is what, like, I remember this one and I was like, wow, that's where I get it. And anyway, I don't know, but I just had a flashback to my dad, just how like he probably never really knew that about himself, where he can take it and channel it into his life a different way, intentionally, into his job or whatever. I'm sure he knew some aspects of himself that were, that he thought he was good at or whatever, but there's so much more, and I just see it coming down generation. It's just cool.
Which all comes back to like this self-awareness that we're always teaching. Like, if you want to find your purpose, or if you want to figure out how to move forward and not feel stuck, instead of keeping it so broad and with that pressure or the expectations to figure out what you're supposed to do now or next or forever, like bring it back to the self-awareness, the understanding yourself, and like what excites you or what comes naturally to you, emphasizing that it really does help you figure out like a more connected version of your purpose, something that feels more authentic.
And something I always tell people is just like step aside yourself, like put yourself right here, your spirit, because we all can do that. Put yourself over here and just start to pay attention your day. Like that's self-awareness. Just start to pay attention. Like, why did I say that to her when she called? And when I hung up, I'm not sure. Why did I just cry after this? Why did I was in such a rush? I don't even remember doing it. Like, just be aware of your day. Like, let it start, or even an hour. Just like play with it and step aside yourself and just kind of watch your reactions, watch your thoughts, watch your, like, just get to know you.
Yeah. And it does feel like a lot of the things that we talk about, all, like you always say, everything is always connected all the time. And it really does feel that way, especially in this aspect, like doing all of these little things and that we're always talking about in every single episode, always does kind of bring us back to the full picture of like, why are we here? What brings us joy? What does it mean to live an authentic life? And so yeah, just playing with it, stepping outside of the pressure or the fear of the feeling of being stuck and what to do next, and just let yourself see where you feel pulled, like what are your desires, what's lighting you up, and go with your natural gifts, because your purpose comes naturally to you. It's not something that you have to work towards or struggle with, although there will be ups and downs and struggles, but it'll always be something that'll just kind of have more of a flow to it, I feel like.
Well, I hear the dogs barking.
So I know time's up. Jesus. Well, maybe we'll do a part 2 on this if we have more to say after this, but I'm glad we were finally able to sit down and talk about this. We'd love to hear what you guys think. I made a post about it already and some people responded, so I want to go back and go over them. But what do you guys think about anything that we talked about today, whether it was the mediumship stories, the spirit world, or purpose, feeling stuck, what to do next, where to go? We love hearing the feedback, but we will hopefully see you guys in a couple weeks.